and start by thanking my wife Caroline and my son James for being here. I love you dearly, and it's been a tremendous journey. You've been with me through so much, and really excited about this new chapter. So, and then I'd love to thank Mrs. Benson, Mickey Loomis, Kellen Moore for giving me this opportunity to be here. It's going to be a tremendous thing we're really excited about, and excited to get my family down here to be part of this community, this organization, and really looking forward to getting started. So,
you said James?
James.
How long has James been with us?
3 weeks.
Wow.
So,
Your first?
it's our fourth.
You got one case for you guys.
So,
What was, I guess, biggest selling point, besides the money, which is obviously pretty good, but, some of the people here have talked about glimpses of Tyler Shough in Allen. Did you see that in some way, or just maybe some of the deciding factors?
yeah, we had a crossover game last year when the Saints played the Jets. We played the Jets the last week of the regular season. And so scouting that film, watching Tyler and this offensive line was really cool. You saw so many great traits and plays and special things that he put on film, as well as KB, Eric, and I knew, Eric was a great player, and so was Caesar. So, and Tally. So, there's so much excitement and momentum, I felt like, leading into, this sort of decision that made me feel really good.
How much of a role, if at all, did Will Platt play in your decision making, or maybe even recruitment?
Yeah, we did not talk. The thing though that I would say is that when he was in Buffalo, we would sit outside of our practice field, and we had like a council. We called it a council and fellowship, and we would talk about just different things, coaches we've had, try to solve the world's problems, etc. But one thing that always stuck with me was how highly he spoke about Kellen Moore and Brendan Nugent, and that always stuck with me. And so when this decision was coming down to it, just referencing the things that he had spoke about, years ago, really made an impact.
You saw Kellen Moore's offense go on full throttle during their championship run with the Eagles. How much did you envision yourself during that time being a part of that kind of a style, and how much did that play a factor in coming to New Orleans?
Yeah, huge. The style of offense that Kellen plays, the run game, the pass game, the protections, the play action, there's a lot of familiarity within that. And then also, it was fun to watch. I mean, there's so much great stuff that they've put on film in years previous, even going back to when he was with the Cowboys. And so, I've followed Kellen for many years and have played against his offenses, and a lot of times the one thing I think about is the physicality that they played with on their offensive line, and the run game, and all the different things that are, important to having a great offense. And so another reason to be really excited about coming here.
You talked about the physicality. You're a 6'6" guard, so that's pretty big in the position.
Yeah.
Inserting yourself in their opposite Cesar with Eric and then Tolly and Kelvin at the tackles, what do you think you bring to complete this offensive line?
Yeah, I think that I bring one of my strengths as a player is technique and fundamentals. Like, I have to play with good technique and fundamentals to win and win effectively. And so the number one thing I feel like I've learned, though, over the years is the closer the unit in terms of just being friends, knowing each other's families, the better we play together. And so no matter what happens, I may do it differently than, the guys that KB has played with in the past. The most important thing is that we all do it together, because if one guy is not on the same page or one guy is doing stuff differently, it's not going to work. And I know that there's a great foundation here with Nuge and all the offensive coaches, that's a message and intent that is really consistent. Like, hey, if we're going to do this, let's do it together and figure out a way to get it done.
And what do you think about working with them? Just looking at the outside of it, having two young stalwart tackles to be able to help solidify that line.
It's amazing. I mean, some of the stuff that I've seen KB put on film is really special, and he has the chance to be one of the best, if not the best tackle in this league. And so that was evident when we had that crossover game, and I referenced that a little bit earlier just with the Jets. He is a tremendous talent, and I'm really excited to get to the chance to work next to him, because I know that we're going to do things together. We're going to work in a way that that is intentful with, doing things in a way that's like maybe different than Andrew Whitworth did when I played with him with the Rams, or Deion Dawkins. Like, there's so much information that I feel like we can do some special things together because of different experiences. And so again, ultimately, it's just how do we do this together to get the job done?
And David, you, in Wisconsin, you overlapped with Ryan Ramchick.
Yeah.
Have you talked to him as long as his spare time at all?
Yeah. Ram was a great friend of mine and is a great friend of mine, going back to our time at Wisconsin. And the one thing he had talked about was just how great of a place this is. And so that was a very common theme with the people that I've talked to. Aaron Cromer, guys that have been in this building. And so there's a common theme, I feel like, and it starts with people. And so Ram was someone that I really looked up to when I was a player at Wisconsin, and then even as a young player in this league, because he was so good. And so he's a guy I'm definitely going to lean on as this process continues out because of our friendship and the experience that he had here.
Is there a lot that the Saints offense does that Cromer did? Because I know obviously you've had a lot of your best years in Cromer's scheme.
Yeah, I think that there's similarities with the structure of the offense, zone scheme, gap scheme. There's different ways to hit blocks and formations, and again, this is a great offense that I've followed a long time with Kellen, and so that was a huge piece to this puzzle. I feel like was the style of offense, and I really feel like it's very similar.
If you, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you've been on contending teams pretty much from like the jump. Is there something exciting about kind of how, coming here and taking that next step for maybe a franchise on the rise?
Yeah, I think that the one thing that was really cool about this was there's a lot of familiarity with this decision. So the people that I know that have been connected to this building or are in this building, I think the world of. And so how could you not believe in that as you're going through this process, that this place is going to get to, where it was in years previous. And so I feel like there's so much momentum and excitement, and what a great opportunity this is to play here. Like, I'm really excited to be part of this building, this organization, because of the people that are in this building. And so many people I believe in, love and trust, and feel really good and excited about that. This is going to be awesome.
David, I don't know if it'd be easy to encapsulate this, but obviously just a couple of years ago, you really had to work hard to kind of reestablish yourself in your career and spent the years of backup, and then what you've been able to do. I mean, how much did that mean to you to have to fight through the hard way, and how has it made you a better player now?
I really think, I think that God did that for a reason, and that really stripped me down to the studs on who I am as a person, what's important to me, like my wife and my family, and my faith. And so that, coupled with really just enjoying playing again, in 2022, not being able to play and being around the guys and the building, and to be in 23, the jumbo and a backup, I just really appreciated everything. My life, there was just a profound sense of love and appreciation that I really felt like was the reason for my success in 24 and 25.
Was the concussion something that you had to miss a season, or it became once you weren't available for a couple weeks, they had to move on? Was that a real lingering medical concern, or it became more of a transaction?
No, I think it was just something that my recovery took longer than I think, I guess, the normal concussion protocol is. And Had no lingering effects or issues thereafter, but I just took longer to recover from.
How aggressive were the Saints in pursuing you? I'm sure you had interest from other teams as well. How aggressive were the Saints in just pursuing you?
Yeah, the Saints were aggressive, and but again, this place, what I know, like, I was really excited about the Saints being in it, and so I was really hoping that this would work out, and I'm so happy that it did.
Is there a different, yes, is there a different responsibility that comes with the kind of contract that you got, knowing the investment that they made in you and because of what you've done?
I think so, yeah. I think ultimately, though, I just want to be able to be the same guy every day. So I don't want this to change my approach, who I am, how I interact with people. The one great thing I've learned from so many great coaches and players I've been around is when you start making things too bigger than they are, that's to your detriment. And so I want to approach this the same way that I've always approached every offseason and every training camp, and reestablishing myself within this locker room and coaches, and that's going to be fun and exciting, but I don't want to make this bigger than it is, because I think that would be to my detriment.
Saints also signed like Travis Etienne within the hour you signed it. Is it what's it going to be like blocking for him? And this run game has kind of struggled the last few years. What do you think the addition of you and him can add to improving that aspect?
Again, yeah, like really exciting. That was a awesome thing to see, because when we played the Jags this past year in the playoffs, got to see firsthand what he looked like on the field, and it was really tough to slow him down. And so I'm excited because I know what kind of player he is, the film that he has, the style of runner that he is, the kind of dual threat receiving things that he is able to do. And so I'm just hoping that we can contribute in a way that elevates everybody around us. And so, again, can we do everything we can on offense, that we love each other and care about each other so much that we're putting it out there for, the group, the team. And so that's what's most important is right now is establishing this rapport with everybody, and friendships and relationships, so that we're able to play like that.
How do you go about creating that? Because it sounds like it's a big part of your kind of positioning as a leader or in leadership, is that togetherness. How do you go about creating something like that?
Yeah, I just think it starts with being around each other. And so, there's a difference, I think, between being in the building with each other and then also when you're at each other's houses or out to dinner. And so how can we spend as much time as we can with each other on and off the field, so that there's no gray area in anything, and you've got a great foundation in your friendship that you can challenge each other when it comes to being on the field or in the weight room or anything like that. So going about that is just trying to spend as much time as you can together. And I think in training camp and even in OTAs, that's going to be a huge piece to the puzzle.
David, was it kind of inevitable that you were going to move on from the Bills, or were they in the mix right up until the end?
Yeah, they were in the mix. Yeah, certainly. I loved my time in Buffalo, and it was, again, one of the most impactful times, not only in my career, but in my life, just being able to appreciate everything. And so, but we're really excited to be here and to be part of this building, this city. We're going to try to move out here as quickly as we can and get kids in school and et cetera. So this was something my wife and I, when we were talking about in this process, circled with the red ink, because we were that excited about it.
Speaking about it,
They had, yeah. We got a firsthand look at the temperature difference of it, yesterday. So when we landed, so no, it's going to be. We've lived in LA, we've lived in Buffalo, our home base is in Northwest Indiana. And so, we've been through it all, and we're excited for this too.
I was going to follow up with that. I don't want to make assumptions, but given the fact that you play offensive line, you're kind of a big dude. I assume you like to eat. Is there anything you're looking forward to here?
What's funny is all the people, the first question I ask is, what's your favorite restaurant? And it's like this huge debate. And that's good. That's exciting. So, I just think that, my wife and I are huge foodies. We love going to try new restaurants. We have a tradition during OTAs with our family that we go to mass on Saturday night and then we go out to dinner as a family. And we try to, hit a new restaurant every time. And so we're excited for that.
What is your list already?
Say it again.
You have a list already?
We don't have a list yet, but there are, like talking to Sean, like he was like, you got to go to this place. And I'm pulling out my phone trying to record all the stuff he's saying. So
What is do you have any experience in the city personally or professionally, I assume? But like, what's your background with New Orleans at all?
I don't have any background with New Orleans, only people that, are good friends that have been here or from here. And so, but they've all spoken so highly about this place and the city and the people, and excited for our family to be immersed in that culture, the city, and it's going to be awesome.
And David, I know there are a lot of factors you're weighing with your family in coming here. How much, if at all, does a quarterback factor into that for a professional player, especially on offense?
I think it's huge. Yeah. And again, the stuff that I was able to see in the crossover game last year with the Jets, there was a wow factor to some of the stuff Tyler was doing. His feel for pressure and pockets and maneuvering within that, some of the throws, the decisions, his processing. I don't play the position. I don't pretend like I know, but seeing him move the ball up and down the field was really cool to see. And so I was really excited about the chance to play with Tyler for those reasons.
David, have you had like either pass protection or run blocking? Obviously, they're both strengths for you at this point, but was one ahead of the other and you had to really improve in the other area, or?
That's a good question. I feel like the run blocking piece to that puzzle is more broad in terms of like within each play or each scheme or each style of run, you have to hit the block differently. So there's so much nuance and technique and fundamental within each block that I had to really master that craft and sharpen that blade. And that took more time than pass pro, I think. And then with pass pro, just the foundation and fundamentals that I think that have served me well are trying to start the party as soon as I can with these D linemen. And so how can I use my advantages to, myself versus a great interior rusher, doing that consistently over and over again. I think in the pass game specifically, took less time than the run game.
Now you mentioned the Giants game, but did you take anything away from the Week 4 game that you guys played against the Saints?
Yeah. Number one, the scheme that Brandon Staley presents is really challenging. He, and I'm familiar with him, in 2020, he was the DC with the Rams. And so the scheme that Brandon presents defensively kind of eliminates or attempts to eliminate, favorable combinations to the second level and changing the math and all the things that I think that you've heard. And so that's number one. There's great players within the scheme too that were a challenge to prepare for. But then I remember sitting on the bench and watching their offensive line and their running backs, really run the ball well against us. And so it was a close game, a tough game that, the Bills ultimately won. But I when I stepped away from that game, just saying to myself, wow, what a tough physical group that plays the right way. And, we're in it till the end.
So you mentioned like your time in Buffalo. What were some of the highlights of your experience there, and maybe growth experiences that you hope you can apply going forward?
I think going back to, 2023 being a backup, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I just learned to appreciate playing, being around the guys, being with my family. Like when that is all taken from you in terms of like you're not playing and you're on IR and you just are really stripped down to like what is important, why do I want to do this, why do I love this? And it only reaffirmed the things that I felt during 24 and 25, that your foundation has to be within your faith and your family and loving those two things first. And then I feel like everything else falls into place. And so that goes into what I'm talking about, the importance of being close as a unit and as a team. And I just feel like the friendships and the bonds that you make lead to success rather than trying to find so much success on the field. Even though that's important, it starts long before then.
Do you see any similarities in the two communities in terms of where the football team sits in the local culture and the fan base between the Mafia and the Houdads or anything like that?
A ton, yeah. And that's exciting too, is the similarities between, the Bills fan base and the Saints fan base. And so I think I had a good understanding of the Saints fans and what the Superdome is like, because the year after my rookie year was the year after 2018, and the Rams had just spoken on how difficult it was to play in the Superdome, both in the regular season and then in that NFC Championship game. And so just really excited because there is a lot of parallel and a lot of investment from the fans into this city, and we're excited to be part of that.
So you never shared that, the first year that players, like during the negotiating and open talk with teams, were you able to like chat with, I don't know, Kellen or Mickey or anyone before?
No, I was not, no. Yeah,
Did you undergo that part of the new process with any other teams?
I did not, no.
So David, you never played in the Superdome.
So I was on IR in 22 when the Rams came here to play in the Superdome, so I have not played.
What are you most looking forward to about experiencing Houdat Nation cheering behind you compared to the Bills Mafia?
Yeah, I think I'm just excited because there's so much investment from the fans into this team and this organization. And anytime you have a city at your back, it's a weapon to use, not only at home when you're playing, but also on the road. And so we're really excited to be able to be part of this environment, this city, playing in the Superdome, the great history of New Orleans and this organization. And so all of that combined, we're really excited for this opportunity.